The Almighty, paragraph 268. Of all the divine attributes, only one God's omnipotence is named in the Creed. To confess this power has great bearing on our lives. We believe that His might is universal, for God, who created everything, also rules everything and can do everything. God's power is loving, for He is our Father, and mysterious, for only faith can discern it when it is made perfect in weakness. He does whatever He pleases, paragraph 269. The Holy Scriptures repeatedly confess the universal power of God. He is called the Mighty One of Jacob, the Lord of hosts, the strong and mighty one. If God is almighty in heaven and on earth, it is because He made them. Nothing is impossible for God, who disposes His works according to His will. He is the Lord of the universe, whose order He established and which remains wholly subject to Him and at His disposal. He is master of history, governing hearts and events in keeping with His will. It is always in your power to show great strength, and who can withstand the strength of your arm? You are merciful to all, for you can do all things, paragraph 270. God is the Father Almighty, whose fatherhood and power shed light on one another. God reveals His fatherly omnipotence by the way He takes care of our needs, by the filial adoption that He gives us, and finally by His infinite mercy, for He displays His power at its height by freely forgiving sins. Paragraph 271. God's almighty power is in no way arbitrary. In God, power, essence, will, intellect, wisdom, and justice are all identical. Nothing, therefore, can be in God's power which could not be in His just will or His wise intellect. The mystery of God's apparent powerlessness, paragraph 272. Faith in God the Father Almighty can be put to the test by the experience of evil and suffering. God can sometimes seem to be absent and incapable of stopping evil. But in the most mysterious way, God the Father has revealed His almighty power in the voluntary humiliation and resurrection of His Son, by which He conquered evil. Christ crucified is thus the power of God and the wisdom of God. For the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. It is in Christ's resurrection and exaltation that the Father has shown forth the immeasurable greatness of His power in us who believe. Paragraph 273. Only faith can embrace the mysterious ways of God's almighty power. This faith glories in its weaknesses in order to draw to itself Christ's power. The Virgin Mary is the supreme model of this faith, for she believed that nothing will be impossible with God and was able to magnify the Lord. For He who is mighty has done great things for me, and holy is His name. Paragraph 274. Nothing is more apt to confirm our faith and hope than holding it fixed in our minds that nothing is impossible with God. Once our reason has grasped the idea of God's almighty power, it will easily and without any hesitation admit everything that the Creed will afterwards propose for us to believe, even if they be great and marvelous things far above the ordinary laws of nature.